3. Woo!
That's a good one. That was nice.
All right. Nicely timed. Hopefully we scared some people out there.
Scared me.
Guys, first off, apologize for yesterday. No videos, no content out there. I had some stuff that I needed to take care of, so it was unable to put content out there. So, we have a good bit of info for you guys today with our Wisdom Wednesday.
Wisdom Wednesday.
Wisdom Wednesday. So, like you know, me and Landell here going to be talking about some things.
Some things.
Some things. We put the thing on the thing. That's what we do.
Yes.
So what we're going to be talking about is how to break through. How to break through. Nothing in particular. Not talking about breaking through a plateau. I'm not breaking through a barrier. Just how to break through in general. And it all comes down to 3 steps. Okay? So, uno des cuatro. Uno dos cuatro. Ich ni san.
Yes.
Yeah,
All those.
counting to 3, all in the languages. So, first step, build a strategy. Not everybody is the same, so you have to find a strategy that best suits you. So it can be something as simple as you building a strategy, talking about, I'm going to make a game plan every single day of how it's going to be from when I wake up to how I go to bed. You have to find a strategy that kind of works for you. For me, what I plan on doing for the day, let's say it's today, I would plan what I'm going to do for the day yesterday. So Tuesday, I'm going to be planning what I'm going to be doing for Wednesday. That's just how I do things, and all the way from coming into work, checking cameras, following up with people, slapping babies, shaking hands and slapping. Wait, yeah, something like that. Kissing babies.
Now and then.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta slap a baby.
Just gentle.
Just a gentle.
I know you're there.
It's like burping the baby.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how I do things. I like to have it all planned out the day before. What do you feel like you're...
I feel like in that sense, you're right. It makes it easier. It makes it easier when you have a strategy or a game plan versus just going in there just with nothing, really no structure. And that's one thing that really helps out a lot. You know, when you have the motivation to do something, but you don't have the right plan implemented, it makes it a little more challenging. Also, the opposite end of that is if you have a plan implemented, but you don't have the motivation, it doesn't go hand in hand. So you kind of have to have the motivation and the strategy or the plan implemented. Otherwise, may not quite pan out the way you want it to, and that's where a lot of people lose the motivation. That's where they kind of lose sight as far as what their goals are. Got to have a plan to be motivated to that plan, knowing that you may take some steps and it may not pan out exactly the way you want it to, but that's just part of having a plan, knowing that if that fails, you have something else you can go back to follow up with. But yeah, have a plan, have a strategy, something that you want to follow up with, or having a goal, and having that goal being realistic. A lot of people also set goals too high, and you're not able to reach them, then you get discouraged and you kind of go wayside with it. So just start with baby steps, have a realistic goal in mind. Once you accomplish that goal, move up to the next one. Once you accomplish that one, move up to the next one, and so forth.
Yeah, it's all about doing the right thing at the right time. So it helps if you have a plan. It's easier to do the right thing at the right time, and then eventually it just becomes pattern. It becomes a habit. You know, if you tell yourself that you're going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to the gym, you're doing the right thing in the right time. You have that set in your plan. Moving forward from that, the second step on how to break through. So we already talked about the first step was to build a strategy. Second step is the story that you tell yourself. Avoid saying things like, oh, I've tried everything. I've tried every single diet. This didn't work for me. That's bullcrap. You haven't tried everything. You have not. There's so many diets out there. There's so many training methods. There's so many different this, that, or the other. Refrain from saying, I've tried everything. It all comes down to the story that you tell yourself. If you say something along the lines of, I don't have this because of X, Y, and Z. So let's say I don't have a girlfriend or boyfriend because all the good ones are taking. No, that's not the case. That's not the case. You need to seek more of what's in you. You need to be the kind of person that somebody else would want you to be to attract that kind of person. But just stop selling yourself short. Don't tell yourself some kind of story. The only kind of story you should be telling yourself is, I'm going to get this today because I'm going to, for example, what I tell myself on the way here is I'm going to change somebody's life today. On the way to the gym, on the way to work, I tell myself I'm going to change somebody's life today. And that's just the simple fact of the matter. I'm going to clear that. There we go. How do you feel about that?
I think so. It just whenever you find excuses not to do certain things, or you have a scapegoat, or this is the reason why this didn't happen, or this is the reason why this didn't happen, it's an excuse. There's no way around it. If you want something bad enough, you will do it. You will make it happen. Something like just having that hunger for what you want. Once you have that hunger, there's nothing that's going to stop you. I know a lot of times people want to say it's because I didn't have this, or XYZ had this, I didn't have that. There are people that have made progress with way less than what the individual had, just because they were hungry for it. It's something that they wanted. And if you want it bad enough, you will get it. Just stay hungry for it, you will get it.
Give up on the story that limits you. If you say, like we both had talked about, I'd be doing well too if I had this, that, or the other. Stop it. Give up on that story. Say, I'm going to get this because of that. Everybody starts somewhere. You know, the first thing that comes to mind with me is me, for example, deadlifting. I was related to gym stuff because you guys understand. But the first time I ever attempted a 1 rep max on a deadlift, I did 500. The very first time. Somebody said, I would be able to do that too if I was that short. I don't know if like me being short has anything to do with it. A little bit, I know. If I pulled sumo, maybe.
Yeah. Still got that advantage.
But this is nothing in consideration that I'm just strong. You know? I feel like that's an okay example.
Yeah, it works.
All right. So we already went over step 1. Build a strategy. Step 2, story that you tell yourself. Moving on to step 3. You need to have the right state. Okay? Not just state of mind, not just mental state, physical state, emotional state. You need to have the right state, period. A big thing that I've realized growing up, especially with relationships, if you do what you did in the beginning, at the end, there will be no end. That's being in the right state. And the same thing applies to everything else. The first time that you get into the gym, you are dedicated, you're motivated, you're eating right, you're training. If you continue to do those things the whole way through, you're not going to be unsatisfied. And that applies with everything.
How bad do you want it?
Exactly.
I mean, I know everybody says they want this, they want to lose weight, they want to build muscle, they want to be faster, stronger. The question is, what have you done to make progression to get to that point? Do you want it bad enough to where you'll do whatever it takes to get to that point? And if the answer is no, then you have your answer as to why you don't make progress that you're looking for. But if you say, this is what I want, I'm hungry for it, I'm going to have that, and you make the progressions and you have the state of mind for it, and you have that strategy for it, you will not fail. And if you do, fail forward, continue on. But you will get it. Just stay hungry for it.
Yep. Hungry. Moving forward from that, having the right state. Decisions, not conditions. Hear me. Hear me. Hear me now. Listen to me later. I don't care. Decisions, not conditions, determine the outcome. Okay? What I mean by that is, it's maybe sensitive, but you take 2 different types of people. One was abused growing up. Well, both were abused growing up. One person takes that condition, that circumstance, and becomes the most successful person in the world because of it, because they weren't going to let that break them down. The other person sits there and wallows in their sorrow because that happened to them. Decisions, not conditions, determine your outcome. What's another good example we could talk about with that?
That's a pretty good one.
It's a pretty good one.
Pretty good one. just don't let your past experiences cripple you.
Yeah.
Use that to your advantage. Use that as your motivation, because you're going to be inspiring somebody else that may have been in a similar situation, and they can look at you and say, hey, if this individual can come out of it and be successful, why can't I?
Yeah.
And you can. I've been through enough in my life where I could have had a situation just cripple me and let that be, the dictator of how I should live my life. But I did, but in a positive way. I took that experience and learned from it and became stronger for that. And when so people ask me, like, how do you overcome this, or, what do you do in this situation? Granted, I don't have the answers for everything, but if you have the will for it and you're hungry for it, you have a goal in mind, a strategy, a plan implemented for it, you will succeed.
Absolutely.
It may not happen right away, but you will succeed.
You will.
Yes.
Moving forward from that, focus equals everything. What I mean by that is you can turn, like we were continually talking about, you can focus on any situation from a negative and turn it to a positive. Focus on what you have, and you will be a positive person instead of focusing on what you don't have. Let's say you have some, perfect example, I drive a 2004 F-150. I'm happy with that. It's paid off. Would I want to have a nice brand new Raptor? Of course, who wouldn't? But I'm focusing on what I do have. No car payment. A wonderful truck that gets me where I need to go whenever I need to go. I'm not focusing on, I wish I had this truck. I wish I had this vehicle. No. Focus on what you have instead of what you don't have. Focus on anything positive.
Yes. I almost feel like the individuals that haven't had things just handed to them are at an advantage. Because you have to work for it and you learn to appreciate things a lot more versus when somebody just gives it to you. Because it was just given to you. When you have to work for something and you put all your blood, sweat, and tears into it, it means a lot more to you. And that's something you should be very, very proud of. And just use that. Like I said, use that to your motivation, use that to your advantage for your progression to whatever you're doing in life. There's always some type of good and a bad. There always is. Maybe very, very, very underlining, but there is something. And you may have to dig deep and pull that and use that as your motivating factor, but we have two options. We can either learn from and move forward and pull that positive out of it, or we can dwell on it and let it just ruin our lives and bury us in misery. But the choice is yours, and it is a choice. And it's just up to you what you want to do with that.
Some good stuff. Some good stuff. All right, so I feel like that's good. I feel like that's good for today. So, recap. How to break through. Build a strategy. Focus on the story that you tell yourself. Make it a positive one. And you need the right state. Okay? You need the right state.
You say steak?
Steak?
Steak. I just ate a whole chicken. I'm still hungry.
Yeah. Speaking of, we're trying this whole carnivore diet thing on top of intermittent fasting. We ate a whole chicken.
The whole one.
It was delicious.
Very delicious.
Very delicious. I think that's been good.
It's been very
Good stuff. So, guys, apologies for no Trainer Talk Tuesday yesterday. So we'll pick up back on that next Tuesday. We appreciate all of our viewers today for our Wisdom Wednesday. You guys will see me this evening for my talk. Probably going to talk about not even supplements this evening. I think I'm going to talk about the kind of shoes to wear in the gym for whatever kind of lifting you're doing.
Yes.
Something different.
Something different.
Most of the people that are watching already know who we are, but just in case if anybody does watch this video in the future, I'm David with Anytime Fitness.
I'm Landell with Anytime Fitness.
And so in closing, like we always do, we pec pop. And then bicep vein, which, have we already told them your bicep vein name?
I think so.
Okay, alright, cool. So, get mine going. This is Wayne the bicep vein. And Lindell's going to introduce his bicep vein's name.
Which is going to be Bane the bicep vein.
Bane the bicep vein. I'm jelly that I didn't think of it.
It's okay.
but it's okay.
You have an equally as an amazing one as I do. Yes.
Guys, we hope you have a great day. Well, you know, it's 2 o'clock now. A great rest of your day. Great afternoon. Have a blessed afternoon. And if you want to come and talk to us, just come into the gym. You know, we offer 7-day free trials. We have a member referral program. For every person that you refer, you get a $25 Running Man reward. Running Man.
Yes. Running Man.
Running Man. So, we'll see you guys later. I'll see you guys this evening. Deuces.